Another week NFL recap. Week 15. Injuries piling up, boy. It's not looking good for. Ain't nobody safe. Basically, it's dangerous out there. This is what y'all want. Y'all want that football, cold weather, but you getting a lot of injuries, and that's what we at for this week. That's the theme for week 15: injuries. So we're gonna start with the Chargers defeating the Chiefs, 16-13. Not so much about the game. Herbert 210, one touchdown. It wasn't too much that went on. Kansas City did get eliminated from playoff contention, and the bigger issue was that Mahomes tore his ACL. Tough. Kansas City was already on a down season, but to have that where you know that next season might be cooked as well, because I'm pretty sure you could find a backup. Of course, somebody serviceable. There's always somebody, but it won't be Mahomes. And Mahomes and Andy Reid has been connected for so long. It's hard. It's going to be a challenge for Andy Reid. I'm pretty sure he can do it, but there's going to be a challenge that he's going to have to find somebody that's going to run this system like Mahomes has. He's had that luxury for about 8 years now, and this will be the first time that he doesn't have that consistently. So I don't know. Prayers up to Mahomes. Hope you get better, man. Come back strong. It's never fun when you got to talk about ACLs because you know you basically out for a year, and that would basically put him coming back this time next year. And who knows where Kansas City season could be. Somebody could be doing well, then you got to take them out, or they could be cooked, and there's no point to play him. So he doesn't play till the next season. But hopefully Mahomes, he seems like he's the type that will put in the work to get back stronger. I don't think this is the end for Kansas City. Certain people it might. We don't know what the future holds for Kelsey. He was already contemplating retirement. I don't know if this would be a sign for him to do it. Who wants to go out like that? But, I mean, we got to figure out some other things. Kansas City is a solid team. I think they just ran out of gas. You can't keep running to AFC conferences and Super Bowls. You add on a game or two every year, and doing that for so long, it wears on you. And I think this is the year that caught up to them. I don't think this team is broken. It just wasn't their year. They didn't have enough to get them to the playoffs. And hindsight, it's 2020, of course, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway if they were in playoff contention because Mahomes would be out, and who wants to go to the playoffs without Mahomes? Doesn't sound appealing. So hopefully Kansas City bounces back, Mahomes bounces back, and we'll see what they do, what happens with them next year going forward. Moving on, Buffalo comes back 21 points down against the Patriots to show that they are still big brother in the division. So Buffalo wins 35-31. Patriots, this was your time. This was the time to show that those wins you have been racking up, that record that you have is not based off of you playing losing teams. This was your time to put that staple. I know you have beat Buffalo earlier this year, but that was a different type of Buffalo. They seem to be on the road these last 5 weeks, and they not to be played with right now. But this was the time that you show, hey, we ready for whatever. We ready for the playoffs. We ready to face whoever. And it didn't happen. You had them down 24-7 in the second quarter. And then Allen became Allen. He just put his will on the game. Drake May, 165, 1 INT. Henderson had 148 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, but wasn't enough. Allen, 193, 3 touchdowns. Cook, 107, 2 touchdowns. I think this is probably Drake May's worst game this year. And it couldn't have come against an opponent that is in your division, that is a game now, 1 game behind you, and somebody that has dominated your division. Buffalo has had their way in that division for a couple years now, and this was the time to show that, hey, we ready. We ready to take over. We ready to be like the old Patriots, not Thomas Brady. Don't at me. But yeah, the Patriots, that's a solid team. That's not the laughingstock of the league. But yeah, and I don't think that the Patriots are garbage. But you don't you this is a game that can help you for the playoffs because I believe they're going unless they have a whole meltdown. But playing teams like Buffalo, they're gonna be there. So you're gonna have to deal with that. It could help you. Hopefully, it doesn't discourage them, and we'll see where the Patriots go for there. Because Buffalo is right there, so you need to make sure that you own it. Because they don't seem like they slowing down at all. They seem like they on a mission, and unfortunately, Kansas City is out. So the boogeyman for Buffalo in the playoffs is not gonna be there this year. Because Buffalo has looked good until they played Kansas City, and then it was 0-4, I believe. 0-5. Somebody fact check me. But you don't have to worry about that now. So I think we're gonna see a different type of Buffalo this year. Yep, that's what I had to do because I don't want to jinx them, but sometimes they jinx themselves. But good win for Buffalo. New England, we'll see what you do from this. We got to talk about another injury. Green Bay loses to the Broncos 34-26. Love did have a good game. He started off good. 2 interceptions, a lot of drop passes in the second half of the game. And Bo Nix was 302 and 4 touchdowns. And I don't know what happened. The defense fell apart. And unfortunately, Micah Parsons is now out for the season with a torn ACL. Sunday was a rough day for them ACLs. It was not a good look. But they lose Parsons. Christian Watson goes out with a chest injury, so that's your best receiver. Green Bay had a lot of drops. Jordan Love didn't make the best throws in the second half, but there was a lot of drops. And the time that they needed to get Knicks and that offense off the field, they could not. Too many fourth downs converted, and you can't win if they constantly completing fourth downs. I mean, they was aggressive. 4th and 2, 4th and 3, they was going for it, and the defense wasn't ready. They was solid, but couldn't stop them on 4th. And who knows, that could have had to do with the Parsons injury, of course, because you don't have him out there to put that pressure to come up with them big plays. But going forward, you're going to have to figure something out because he's not going to be there. Hate that injury for him. He was on his way. He's probably a defensive player of the year candidate, but season is lost. Hopefully he comes back strong. Prayers up to him as well. And I don't think it's over for Green Bay. They have talent on their defense, but you can't make up for somebody like Parsons. So we'll see where they go because they do have Chicago this week, and we'll see. Oh, boy. The feel-good story of the Colts. Old man Rivers, literally, his name is Rivers. But yeah, 44, man comes out of retirement last week, a week of practice, barely. 5 years out the league, off of a week. He retired for 5 years. Then he plays. He practices for 1 week. He comes out at 44, and he almost wins the game. Well, the team almost wins. Rivers, 121, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not bad. They tried to short pass their way down the field. It almost worked. Darnold had 271, but no touchdowns, which is weird to say for Seattle. We haven't had too many games where Seattle doesn't have touchdown passes, but it almost worked. Colts, y'all almost figured out something. But it was basically a field goal battle. Blake Cooper, 60 yards for the Colts. But then Jason Myers comes back 56 yards to win the game with 18 seconds left. So basically a field goal battle in Seattle. But Rivers, he looked okay. I don't know what you expecting from a 44-year-old that's been out the league for 5 years, but he looked okay. But you trying to nickel and dime your way down the field, that's not going to work. You're going to have to lean on Taylor and have that running game go. And you're going to have to go as Jonathan Taylor goes because you got the 49ers, you got the Jaguars, they red hot, and then you got the Texans, they red hot. So I don't know where you find a victory in there outside of moral victories because those teams ain't to be played with, and all of them is playoff caliber teams. So you're not going to have that game where You have a team that you could just work your way back into and explore and see what Rivers can do. No, he in the pressure cooker. All of these are teams that's probably going to the playoffs guaranteed, just about. But so I don't know. We'll see. 49ers on Monday. It ain't looking too good. I don't think you can nickel and dime down the field. I know that's the opening game, but who knows? He might not have nothing left in the tank to push it down the field. You have the receivers, but you gotta have the arm strength, and we don't know what Rivers has left. We just thankful that Rivers didn't get killed by this Seattle defense. Any game that Rivers plays and he comes out healthy, that's a blessing. Because 49ers, Jaguars, and Texans, it don't sound good. But yep. Colts keep trying. Seattle. Ain't nothing to play with. Y'all on y'all way. Yeah, Seattle is 11-3. They are tied with the Rams, and they will play them on Thursday Night Football. Look at that. And we're going to talk about the Rams. The Rams and the Lions have another battle. These two teams, they always put up a good show, but the Rams win 41-35, 41-34. Goff 338, 3 touchdowns. St. Brown 164 yards. Williams 134 yards. Video game numbers, but it still wasn't enough. That defense couldn't stop Stafford. 368, 2 touchdowns. Nakua 181 yards. Unfortunately, Devontae Adams sprained his hamstring. We don't know if he's going to play Thursday. It's not looking too good, but other than that, the Rams are rolling. That division is a problem. You got the Rams 11-3, Seattle 11-3, the 49ers 10-4. That's a rough division to be in. That's tough. I mean, you knew these were teams that could be playoff contenders going into the year, but not like that. That's crazy. Oh, Lions. Defense just not there. Y'all gonna have to go heavy on the defense this year. The offense is the defense, injuries, of course, yeah, but it's been injuries for a while. And at some point, you're probably going to have to replace some of these guys that have been on the field consistently because you're not getting enough production. And you hate for this offense to be wasted by this defense because, I mean, to have that type of game, to have the type of games Goff has had, I mean, 338, 3 touchdowns. What more do you want this man? 34 points. The offense has been clicking. They've been the top offense all year, and they're still only 8-6, barely in the playoff race. A lot of those have come from the defense just not being able to do anything, and I mean anything. I'm not saying they Dallas or Cincinnati bad, but they knocking on the door. They trying to audition for it because when you got an offense like that, you got to reward them. You gotta give them something. This should probably be a 10-11 win team by now, but this defense is holding them back. Some of that play calling by Dan Campbell too, but we ain't gonna go there. We ain't got time. But yeah, so hopefully the Rams bounce back. They got the Steelers this week. I'm sorry. Hopefully the Lions bounce back. They had the Steelers this week, so we'll see where they go. Oh boy, Dallas, you can't get right, can you? You beat the Eagles, you beat Kansas City, you beat the two teams that went to the Super Bowl in back-to-back weeks. You get people excited about you, and then you start to fall off a cliff. And this Vikings loss, this 34-26 loss, once again, Dallas is similar to the Lions. All offense, no defense. Dak, 294, no touchdowns, but the offense was still clicking. And the problem is with them, no defense at all. Like, none at all. But you had somebody that was a top defensive player, even though he just got hurt. You had him and you traded him away. And you haven't done anything with this defense. It's world-class bad. I mean, Dak is balling. CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, they have been balling. Williams, as a unit, that offense has been clicking. And they have been rewarded with a 6-7-1 record. The defense just ain't there. McCarthy, he didn't have the best game. 250, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but He looked pretty decent, but a lot of people look decent against this defense. I feel sorry for Dak because you have had some seasons where you just But this has been a more solid, better MVP caliber season, and here it is, lost from bad defensive play. And I'm not blaming the coordinator. You just don't have the talent. Guys is missing, of course, but you just don't have the talent. Something is, you don't have pass rushing. It's nothing. Guys just sitting there letting the quarterback throw and they having their way. And that's been Dallas' story, just like the Lions all year. So Dallas is almost but out. Minnesota is out, even though they won. But Dallas, y'all finna call it a year too. And then we have other games. Carolina, I gotta get on y'all. Y'all know better. Y'all had no. Tampa Bay had gifted you the division lead by buffooning against the Falcons on Thursday night. And here you take that and then you go lose to the team in New Orleans, you go lose to them. Come on, Carolina. They gave you the lead. This was your time to beat the Saints and start putting that space between you and Tampa Bay for you to prove that you're ready for the playoffs. But you are not. Nah, you're not. Tampa has fell all the way apart, losing 5 out of the last 6. So I don't know if y'all having a race to give away the division, but it's looked like that's what y'all trying to do. This division is a mess. You supposed to beat the Saints. You supposed to clean that up. But here you go. Y'all just basically giving it back to each other. It's like Tampa doesn't want it and Carolina doesn't either. But unfortunately, somebody gonna have to win because the Falcons is cooked and the Aints ain't gonna make it. But yep. So Carolina, come on, y'all, do better. I'm rooting for y'all. I'm believing, not for playoffs, but I'm believing that y'all can be a solid team. Don't do me like that. Don't have me out here looking bad, losing to the Aints. But yeah, y'all got it. Ravens finished the Bengals. Really not about the score. All the reports of Burrow maybe not having fun or him possibly being done in Cincinnati, but I couldn't blame him. But they kind of got to keep him because you didn't invest so much into him chasing Higgins. So why would you tear that apart? That's probably the most dynamic group in the league, when healthy, of course. But I don't know. Another season failed for the Bengals. Bengals have 2 problems, well 3. Their defense is a problem, and they can't stay healthy. And they forget that football starts in September. They don't get hot or start playing for real in the last recent years until October, November. But you're already 3-7, 4-8. It's too late. You need to get it going early. This year it was Burrow getting hurt after starting off 2-0. Hopefully you go into next season healthy and stay that way, and then you can reincarnate some of that magic that you had in 21-22 that you was looking like a consistent Super Bowl team. But something gonna have to happen on that defensive side, and y'all gonna have to just pray for health because those 2 things is killing you. But yeah, that's where we are. So what did we learn? Learn that defense ruins your offense. No matter how much good offense, you still do need defense. Somebody get these teams defense. ACL tears, nasty. We pray for these people. Pray they recover and come back better. Buffalo is still big brother to New England. Sorry, y'all. I couldn't help it. You can put a 44-year-old quarterback out there. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but it will get you a bunch of headlines and, get a bunch of feel-good stories. But you can't hope that he just comes in after a week and clicks. So that's pretty much where we're at. So, yep. We'll see what goes on next week. We're getting close to the playoffs, so all of these games are starting to matter for real, for real. It's only so much left, so you only got a few more weeks. You need to get right or just say we're going to try again next year. I appreciate y'all for watching. I'm out of here.